Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome
Hey.
to the Super Gamecast 2.
Hey. I'm gonna.
Sorry, what's up?
Hey. I'm. I know we weren't gonna talk about this anymore, but
No?
I have a chicken thing.
Man, I'm not even through the introductions. I have to introduce us, who we are.
All right. All
No,
right.
you want to cut right to it, don't you?
All right. No. Go ahead. Go
Bronson
ahead.
Fiore wants to cut right to it. All right. I'm
Yeah.
Aaron Reynolds. We're here to talk about goddamn food. What's up? What's going on?
Okay. So I promise this will be the last KFC thing for a while, unless
Yeah,
it
you
ends
said
up
that
in my.
last time. We'll,
Uh,
we'll.
okay, but it's for real.
Okay.
So I was working a lot of overtime this past week, like a lot, a
Hmm.
lot.
Yes.
And I was also, and my job is very stressful at times, along with having other issues. And I wanted like mac and cheese after work, but I didn't want to go through the effort of making mac and cheese. So, uh,
Okay.
so I went to KFC and I ordered a combo of popcorn chicken and mac and cheese.
So it was purely for the mac and cheese.
Yes, yes, it
Like
was.
there is no other place that you go to if you're looking for a good mac and cheese in your mind.
I mean, it's more just like I didn't know any place that served fast service mac and cheese.
Uh
Like, well, at least that like has a drive through and whatnot.
yeah.
Like I was just
I don't
like,
know.
because I was just like Boston Market,
I wouldn't do that.
and I'm just like, so yeah, like I was kind of in this weird place of,
Yeah.
I was
The
like kind of,
TGI Fridays serve mac and cheese?
that's, yeah, but that's another place where you got to go in.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
fuck that.
so this was very much go through, drive through, go
Yeah.
home,
Yeah.
sleep, eat, sleep.
I can't believe KFC has the market
Yeah,
on drive-through mac and cheese.
yeah, no, they
But
do.
okay.
So, no, so and then like because it was a combo, I had their fried chicken with it.
Oh, okay, like full on fried chicken.
No, I had popcorn chicken.
Oh, popcorn chicken.
And even then, it was disappointing.
Okay. So I want a review of KFC chicken that this was inevitably leading to.
Okay, so one, most of it is not. Most of the popcorn chicken was not chicken. Like
Oh, yep.
it was just breading. Like there
Right.
were several times where I would like take a piece out, bite into it, there'd be no chicken, just breading.
Yep.
So that was
That's the
awful.
tragedy of KFC chicken, especially now.
And then the quality of the actual chicken was okay. Like it was fine. It was yeah.
On a
I'd
scale of
rather.
1 to 10, what were the graphics of the chicken?
I mean the graphics were a 5 out of 5,
Oh, wow.
but it's the taste that is the problem. The
What
gameplay,
about the yeah, the gameplay? What about the sound? How did it
how
sound?
the chicken sound.
Hmm.
I don't know, kind of stale. Like it,
Not
like
as satisfying.
like when I like picked that box up and heard the rustle, I was like, why does it sound just kind of like this chicken has been sitting in this box for like all day. Mm,
Got that from the sound, huh?
yeah.
Interesting.
So,
Ugh.
um, mac and
I
cheese was
forget
on
any other
point
bad.
though.
Really? Okay. So they
Yeah.
still got that down.
So yeah, their chicken is still garbage.
But we
Uh,
don't get any we don't get special chicken skins or MMO deals or any of that.
the thing is like I understand why they're selling the chicken skins now
Okay.
because that's all that it fucking is anyway.
What?
So you
I mean,
might
you were
you
getting popcorn chicken, which is basically you were halfway there.
yeah like
I
so
mean, it's breading, but
yeah well like yeah but normally there's like some meat in there.
sure.
Yeah, like this was like nothing,
It's been a
nothing.
disappointment, and
Truly was. I'm not gonna
something they need
lie.
to fix. They haven't fixed for years because I guess that people just like to eat breading.
Well, yeah. I mean
Isn't a bad thing. It's just when
that's
you want popcorn chicken.
that's why they're sell. That's why they have a menu item that's just
Yeah.
fucking fried chicken skins.
Good God.
Fucking animals.
So you
Uh,
just got those two things?
yeah, that's it. That's all I
All
got.
right.
That's yeah. I just figured that like I had to loop back to this. uh, because maybe their subliminal advertising worked, but I think the real thing was I just really wanted mac and cheese.
Uh, yeah, and that's the thing is like we were talking about this before, but the phone will suggest you KFC if you talk about KFC enough. It'll show up in like I have an Android, and it'll show up in your Google News feed and things like that. So it gets you thinking about it quite a bit. And then yeah, if you just have one item there that you need that you're craving, guess what?
Um, they're there to provide it.
And
Especially,
then with that one purchase, you have validated all of the KFC news items being sent your way.
yeah, and I'm probably gonna get more, and I'm gonna ignore them. So, but hey, they got their $10 out of me. So
They needed some money. They got it.
they got that $10. So I guess it's justified.
The 21st century digital world in a nutshell. That's all of us.
Cyberpunk
Yep.
2077.
Yep.
Oh Lord,
Well, how are you doing beyond the KFC mac and cheese?
tired.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I work for an insurance company. For those of you who don't know,
Mm-hmm.
and what that translates to is it was the last week of open enrollment for Medicare Advantage, Medicare Supplement in a lot of cases, Part D,
But,
and what that means is I'm basically on the phone for at minimum 10 hours straight, every single day for 5 days straight.
oh,
Um, and they were trying to bribe us to
what?
come in on Saturday because technically the last day of open enrollment was Saturday.
Okay.
The last day was Saturday, but what ends up happening is thank God for this is they didn't make it mandatory,
Hmm.
but they're like you guys should really come in last shot to get that last OT push in for the holidays. And then as the week went on further and further, you get an Opal Bravo or a this Bravo if you sign up. And what a Bravo is it gives you a certain amount of points. And if you have enough points, you can go and buy shit like Amazon gift cards or whatever.
Fucking gamification of overtime.
Yeah.
All right.
So and I thought about it. I was just like, if I work 4 hours of OT, that's an Amazon gift $25 Amazon gift card. But then on Friday, a couple different things happened, and then my spirit was just broken, and I was just like, no, no, I'm good.
Yep.
The gift card and the extra $70 would be nice, but not nice enough.
No.
Not nice enough for me to give up part of my day of rest and Star Wars.
Money is nice, but personal time is so much nicer.
Yeah, so that's basically where that is.
Yep. Okay.
And then as for video games,
Oh, yes.
I played video games. Not much, but some.
I'm glad because I didn't play too much.
So I played a lot of that there Halo Reach.
Yo, what's going on with
'Cause-
Halo Reach?
Yeah, they put that out as part of the Master Chief Collection on Xbox, and just put it out as the only part of the Master Chief Collection on PC.
Yep.
And I put a good amount of time into it. Yeah, that game still holds up in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
especially with the new coat of paint on it. It looks great. I will say that turns out when you play a game competitively at a tournament level for 7 years across Halo 2, 3, Reach, you get muscle memory, homie.
Sure.
So, at first I tried playing on a keyboard and mouse because that's my default for, shooters.
Yeah.
And literally my brain was trying to convert an Xbox controller to a keyboard and mouse. Every action was delayed because it was trying to convert muscle memory into this new input system. So even though I'm more accurate with a mouse,
Mm-hmm.
everything else is harder.
Yep.
So
Right.
I just said fuck it and picked up an Xbox controller and started doing way better.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm curious how I'm going to go into it because I've never been like super competitive when it comes to Halo, and I have not only a regular controller and a keyboard and mouse, but I also got my now dead Steam controller that I have always been curious how that plays and whether there's any advantages or disadvantages with that control design. And I think Halo Reach would be a good test.
uh, so another thing, something that also people are running into on the PC version is, so for those of you who don't know, I may be spoiling some illusion of the Halo games for you, or any console shooter since Halo.
Uh huh.
They all have a certain amount of auto magnetism
Mm-hmm.
for the reticle.
Yes.
So, like, if you move the stick and it's like a hair off, it'll self position where it's supposed to be for you.
Sure.
This is to account for the fact that you using an analog stick isn't nearly as fucking accurate as a mouse,
Right.
or even a pointer in the case of the Wii and VR.
Yep.
So, um, every single console shooter does this. Call of Duty does it when you pull the trigger up and aim down sights. But
Yep.
for the most part, like I said,
Left
most
trigger,
console shooters.
left trigger, right trigger, shoot.
Yep. So most console shooters do this. So okay, that's fine.
Yep.
But now you're gonna in an environment where it is keyboard and mouse versus controller.
Yep.
So if you don't add that magnetism to controllers, it's super unfair.
Right.
But now you're starting to get it the other way a little bit, where pulling off certain headshots is easier on a controller because of the auto magnetism. So now a lot of keyboard and mouse players are getting fucking butthurt
Oh.
because it is in theory giving the console players an unfair advantage. And mind you, that this was a problem in Halo 2 on PC. They released Halo 2 on PC, they just did it too fucking late because they released it 4 or 5 months before Halo 3, and they also tied it to Windows Vista
Oh
on their
no.
games for Windows Live service.
Oh man.
Just real winners all
Right.
around.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
assure you.
Hmm. Okay.
Anyway, what ends up happening there? Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
What ends up happening there is you have you have a kind of divided crowd on that. There, 343 is debating if they're going to do anything at all.
Oh, we're still doing this now. This is what's happening.
Yeah, this is
The
as of
current
this week.
drama.
Yeah, this is of this weekend.
Ah.
Um, and I, so as someone who played this game very competitively, I understand where they're coming from.
Sure.
Like, I get it. I understand. I get why they're doing what they're doing. But on the other side of that, it's like the advantage isn't that huge. Like
Well,
it's
right.
there. It's definitely there because I noticed it when I switched over, where I was just like, oh, okay. I definitely get how this. Excuse me,
Don't die.
frog in my throat. I definitely understand how this helps in certain ways, but once again, it's not the end of the world.
It's all about trying to get some sort of balance between the obvious advantage that keyboard and mouse has.
Not only that, but like now you have all these elite controllers out there, like the Xbox
Yeah.
Elites out there. Those things give controller players advantages over other controller players
Right.
because now you can because there's a lot of shit on those controllers I looked into, and I was like, dude, that gives you such a competitive edge. Because
Yeah.
the trigger, because you can set it so your trigger is a hairpin trigger, you can make it so that shit all your bullets come out way faster if you have
Right.
one of those. And you make so your analog sticks are as dialed in as possible, and like all this other stuff. Uh, yeah, so I'm just kind of like, so are we gonna start catering to that too? Are
Yeah,
we gonna have to like? I mean, you could just do what Gears does and have separate servers for both.
right.
But then that makes one crowd way smaller than the other.
Yep.
So
It's gonna be a hard problem to solve, but I don't know. I guess you would have to look at like who is higher ranked and then see what the split of controller and keyboard players are.
yeah, I'm curious to see what the stats are on this, or if the drama even continues, because this was like the third highest played game on Steam this past weekend, right after it came out.
Yep.
I know that, but yeah, I had a great time. That said,
Cool.
turns out Halo's still good.
Turns out.
Turns out. As for what else, I put a little bit of more time into Jedi Fallen Order. I'm on the last chapter. I will give my final thoughts on it probably next week.
Cool.
But if nothing changes, it's definitely going to be in the back half of my top 10 list, like somewhere
Uh,
between 5 and 10.
okay.
Because it's really good, but like even now, 2 patches in, like I ran into some like frame rate and technical bugs last night. I was
Man.
just like, for fuck's sake.
Which at this point,
Yeah,
it's been out for a little bit now.
I've been out for about 3 weeks.
Yeah. Oh man, has it only been 3 weeks?
It's been 3 weeks, yeah, because it
Shit.
came out the week same day as Pokemon.
Right. How does time move so slowly and so quickly at the same time?
Yeah, like it came out the hold on, yeah, the 15th.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been 3 weeks, and generally it's a very good Metroidvania with Dark Souls combat and Uncharted set pieces. They
Sounds about
they
right.
they held that they targeted what games could make cool Star Wars games, and they're like these three, and they made a good ass game, and I have had since last time I talked about it, I've had to fight 3 different lightsaber boss fights,
Right.
and they were all cool as hell.
Cool.
They feel like lightsaber boss fights because they're just real wars of attrition. Like
Right.
they're all just you just barely feel like you're surviving.
That's a good feeling to have in a game like
Um,
this.
yeah, so yeah, there's that, and then I wanted to put time into Dragon Ball Fighters because Broly came out, new
That's
Broly's,
right.
but I barely got to. I literally got to go into training mode with him for like 10 minutes, and then I had other responsibilities and was too tired.
How do you feel for those 10 minutes?
Like he has very specific combo routes that you can't just plug and play him into your team. You
Oh,
actually have to like learn some stuff before you just plug and like he's not like a character that was very plug and play in my mind was Vegito. Like last
okay.
season, Vegito and Bardock both came out, and for the most part, you can learn their basics and plug them into almost any team.
Okay.
That is not the case with Broly, from what I have seen and what I have read and what I have watched from other people. Is he's very a lot of his routes are very specific, a lot of his stuff is very specific. That said, man, he is a monster in the corner.
Sure. No,
So
all of the fighters' videos I've seen on Twitter have been of Brawley keeping people in the corner.
yeah, like and like the fact that he just I'm happy for his existence because I feel like this game needs 2 more types of characters. One, they need more zoners. There's
Hmm.
2 of them.
Okay.
There's Frieza, and then there's Old Broly. And Old Broly's like a zoner brawler hybrid.
All
And then
right.
2 is grapplers. There's arguably 3, but realistically 2.
Okay.
There's 16, and then there's New Broly.
All right.
You can kind of count Old Broly. He does have some of those moves. Just like you could kind of count Blue Goku because he has a couple of those types of moves, but they
Right.
don't play like their traditional, you know, grappler archetype versus Broly and 16 very much do.
Sure.
So
Okay.
yeah. Oh, and I played Titanfall.
Titanfall 2?
Yep.
Wow.
It was free on Plus, and I
Oh, that's
popped
right.
and I already had it installed, and I went online, and the population has been boosted like 10 times, 5 to 10 times, depending on your location.
Yep.
And I went in there and I murdered a bunch of new players,
Well, that'll happen.
brutally murdered them.
That's good though. It's a good game.
Yeah, it's a great game. I'm very happy to see its population thriving.
Yeah.
So yeah, you didn't play much.
No, I was not able to play much. My week has been busy and a bit stressful, but let's see. I don't know. I messed around with a couple different games just to mess with streaming setups, and because I'm still working on getting that going as a regular thing, which may happen this week or next week.
Mm-hmm.
But I like popped in, super hot for a while. I still love the hell out of that game.
Ah, that game is really good.
It's really good. um, I think I jumped into Pokemon for a little bit, but I had nothing super meaningful has happened in that. Um, that's still just a Pokemon game. And then, yeah, I think that's about it. You know,
Yeah, I got to do a little bit of Pokemon at work because of my lunch breaks and whatnot.
sure, yeah.
Which
Uh,
it's the Pokemans.
I've downloaded some games for sure.
Yeah, did you get anything over all those sales that were happening last week?
I think I did, if I remember correctly. Let me take a look. Because yeah, there are a ton of sales going on.
Yeah, pretty much every platform had like a major game sale going on, and I know that in my I actually avoided a lot of them. But I did get a couple.
Okay.
I did get a couple. So that was let's see, and then so I picked up Judgment, that new game by
Okay.
the Yakuza peeps,
Yep.
and then I picked up that's basically it. I bought games for other people, funnily enough.
Cool.
So
I downloaded a game called Everything,
what's this
which
about?
is so some people like I was looking at some people talking about it, and like some people were saying that they fucking cried, which I'm like watching the trailer for it, and it just seems ridiculous and potentially amazing, but ridiculous. The developer's one guy named David O'Reilly.
Is it on Steam?
It's on Steam. That's where I got it. I got it
Well,
through the sale. The publisher is David O'Reilly and Double Fine. Uh,
weird. Okay.
it is literally everything.
Oh, I remember hearing about this.
Yes, this came out April
Yeah,
21st, 2017.
yeah, no, we talked about this very briefly on last week's episode.
Did we?
Yeah, it was in Polygon's
That's
list
right.
of
That's right. It was in
stuff.
the Polygons list, and that's what made me look it up. And so I was like, this seems insane that this is a video game and it's like $3 or something. So
Fair enough. It's 15 now.
yeah, it's 15 now. So
But yeah,
I have not tried that yet. I want to try that out on a stream.
uh,
That seems real cool. I think that may have been the one game I bought.
yeah. I bought Judgment because I really liked what I played, but I never got around to finishing it.
That's a good pick.
On Amazon they had it for $25, and then I had $10 credit from when I bought Call of Duty, and then I
Yep.
have free shipping because of my Prime, and I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
okay, let's. I know they picked up Dangerous Driving because GameFly had it for like a penny. um,
That's right.
so yeah,
Sure.
uh,
Dangerous driving. Fuck.
yeah. Red Dead 2 hit Steam this week.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it finally hit Steam. I considered it.
Sure.
But then I was like, I can hold off for a little bit.
Yeah,
Um,
it's gonna be a bit.
yeah.
So,
So,
but
uh,
otherwise, yeah, I don't know. I wanted to say because we were talking about how tired we were. I was saving the story for the very beginning. Was I woke up? I was having a dream this morning. I had a couple dreams, but the last one was of a Dragon Ball Z themed Simpsons kart racer. Uh,
what the hell, Aaron?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it was. It's just everyone was in, like early Dragon Ball Z outfits, and
Okay.
there's Bart driving as like young Gohan in a kart racer, and then I woke up and said, "Alexa, what time is it?" It's like it's 9:54. I was like, "Fuck." Okay. Been
Uh,
that kind of day. But anyway, so that's really what's been going on over here. It's been work. Work's been getting a little better, which means I'll have more time to get into streaming stuff. Hopefully on this channel later on.
yeah, I'm planning in April some probably insane levels of streaming,
Okay,
which we'll get into later.
good.
Uh, yeah. So yeah, no, it's been a rough week for the game and stuff. I know that I want to get Star Wars in the books finally, so that I can just know life Outer Worlds, and then in 2 weeks we got that Christmas vacation coming up, which
Yep.
like in my case is more like Christmas weird off on work time because like
Right.
I'm off Christmas Day, which when does it fall this week? I think on a Thursday, on Wednesday. But I'm also probably gonna be off Christmas Eve because it's always dead on Christmas Eve. And then I
Sure.
work 2 days, and then I'm off the weekend, and I go to work for a day, but then I'm off New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, and then I work. So it's like this weird. The way the times fell this year, it just ended up being weird.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but like even then, I'll have definitely a reduced work schedule here soon, so it's gonna be all about that Outer Worlds and that finally getting into Death Stranding possibly.
Yeah.
I know I want to have money for Disco Elysium.
Right.
Just other purchases. Like I've had to go Christmas shopping. I had to get my girlfriend's gift. Her gift was $100. And then I took care of you and Jared during the Steam sale.
Sure.
Took care of I took it like all I have left is my mom and grandpa. So I took
Yeah.
care of a bunch of people, and it's like that cost a lot of money. Uh,
Christmas is not friendly to the poor.
no, it's not. Like even if you just get like everyone that you actually just give a shit about one gift,
Hmm.
that's still like anywhere from $20 to $100 a person.
Right.
Yeah. So it ends up being fucking expensive.
I remember early on, I had to be like given T-shirts and then yeah, Steam sale games. Like those were my presents
Oh
and
yeah.
posters.
Oh yeah. No, Steam sale games were like, especially like when now I give like $20 Steam sale games, like shit that's like new. But
Sure.
like back in the day, it's like you are getting Knights of the Old Republic. Here,
Hey, that's the Old Republic's all right.
yeah, that's a good
That's
ass
a
game.
value purchase.
That is a. I was a smart shopper.
Yeah,
I think I got you Undertale.
you did. Yes,
Yeah, that was like
that was a good pick.
yeah, that was like $7, I think. It was cheap. Um, yeah, I think I got you a Star Wars game as well one year, and then I
Yes, you
know,
got me Battlefront 2, the
yeah,
original.
yeah, it's a great game.
That was a good game.
I know, like my friend Panda, I got her a bunch of $2 games. Um, yeah, but it's Steam sales are like my go-to for a lot of Christmas shopping for a lot of people I know because they're all nerds. I don't have to worry about shipping. I don't have to worry about like it getting lost in the mail. You
And then,
know.
like on one hand, I think it would be cool if they would let you be able to purchase a game during those Steam sales. One of three things. One, I wish the sales were closer to Christmas.
So there is one. Supposedly, the other one this year starts on the 18th.
Oh, there's another one
Yeah,
as opposed to the fall sale.
so now the way they've been doing it the past couple of years, I've noticed, is they have the Halloween one, which is a mini one.
Yeah.
They have the big fall one, and then they have a big winter one that happens like the week before Christmas, leading through Boxing Day.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay. I didn't know that.
so
Well, then it's fine. Then there's nothing that needs to be done.
yeah,
But
so it's yeah, and then they have their summer one, which is weird, but whatever.
summer
Uh,
one is good because we'll have gone through like a long drought.
yeah, I just hate the fact that like some people I know don't keep Steam wish lists, and it drives me fucking crazy. Because then
My problem is I need to curate mine a bit.
yeah, no, I actually went in and did that this year finally. It's like I had like 70 games on there, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna go back and play like half of these and like cut it down to like 14.
I liked this because there was a mechanic in it that they used that I like. I
Mm,
hope they pull it off well. Do I give a damn about the game? No.
yeah, no, like I cut mine down to like 12 games. Two of them aren't even out yet.
Yeah, that's
Um,
that's a good call. I got to
uh,
do the same.
yeah.
Uh, but
Um,
yeah, so
so yeah. Anyway, some
we have news.
stuff news.
Should
You
we move
said,
to news?
dude. Let's do it. Do it
Let's.
to it.
So we got our biggest news story here, and it's our biggest news story because if you've been following the last few podcasts, you know that we like to go over lists and go over history of game consoles and their games and all that fun stuff.
History of video
So
games is fascinating, man. It
I
really is.
enjoy it. I really do.
Yeah, like I feel as though that like there's definitely like I've always said that I want to do a brief history of video games as a show. You know,
Sure.
like that is something that I want to do. Anyway,
Yeah.
go on.
So
I have the news story on screen.
yeah, the news story is PlayStation turned 25 this
Yeah,
last week.
it came out I believe December 3rd. Yeah, it says right here, 1994 in Japan.
Yeah, which
Uh,
is insane.
it's weird to think about. It's weird to think about that PlayStation is a quarter century year old.
It has been around for so damn long. I can't even comprehend it.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it's been a part of our lives almost entirely.
Pretty much.
Like I can comprehend maybe a year and a half without PlayStation being in existence.
And like uh our household didn't have PlayStation for the longest time because we didn't have the money to be doing that kind of thing until much later. But yeah, turned 25 today. They had some various celebrations going on around it. Did you say anything special that they did?
Not in particular. I noticed they put like it's really weird because they made a big deal out of this, but they made a big deal out of this, right? But they didn't go ahead and uh, hold on one sec. Sorry, I forgot to fix our title.
Oh no, what have you done?
Oh, we were just listed as episode 24. Uh,
Oh no.
we're fine.
All right.
But no. So it's interesting. The game industry would not be the same at all without PlayStation.
No.
And it's weird that they made a way bigger deal about their 20th anniversary instead of their 25th, in my mind. Because their 25th, there was a special edition PS4 that like had the color scheme and logos of the PS1, and you can get 20th anniversary controllers. For this, they just like put out a theme and acknowledged it, and like put out some stats and went about their day.
Weird.
It was weird, very weird. And it's weird to think about like how the PlayStation was made for one, and how like there's so many weird things about like the early days of PlayStation,
Sure.
and how the game industry would not be the same without the PlayStation.
Well,
Uh,
it's amazing to think about how before PlayStation, it was all about Nintendo versus Sega.
yeah, and say like Nintendo was for kids, Sega was for teens. No one really marketed towards adults.
Right. Which
And
in my family, that meant Nintendo was for kids and adults because then my dad would go to the Blockbuster or whatever and rent like Hook and play it from start to finish.
fair enough.
And Jungle Book. I remember Jungle Book was one he liked.
Uh,
Um, but yeah. But that was the thing. And then, let's see, it was PlayStation or Sony had a deal with Nintendo. They were going to work on a console together.
well, so it was originally going to be an add-on for
Right.
the Super Nintendo. It was Sega was working on the Sega CD, and they were also partially partnered with Sony for that. Funnily enough,
Oh, weird.
and then so Sony was in both houses.
They,
Uh,
they were going to win from this.
and Sony was also making the sound chips for the Super Nintendo, and now they were making a CD add-on for the SNES called the PlayStation. And first day of CES, Sony has their keynote, and they fucking talk up the PlayStation and how it's going to be the shiz, and how it's going to be this great add-on, and how it's going to be way better than the Sega CD, and the tech behind it, etc. But there was something in their deal that Nintendo didn't like. It was Nintendo didn't like that Sony kept the rights to any games made on CD.
Oh,
So like the distribution rights. So let's say they make Super Mario 64. Or
yeah.
sorry, Super Mario PlayStation. That means that is partially owned by Sony.
Yeah.
So Nintendo was like, "Fuck this," and went to go partner with Philips. And what they do with Philips is there's a couple of things. That one, they come out the next day, and instead of telling Sony, "Hey, we're cutting the deal. Hey, we're not working with you anymore," they just go out and say, "Oh no, we're not. We what? They're crazy." And they say we're partnering
Wow.
with Philips, and they partner with Philips. And they go ahead and not only do they partner with Philips for this, they go ahead and instead of giving just all the distributors, they say, okay, you can make 3 exclusive Zelda slash Mario games for the Philips CDI, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
You own the rights to these terrible video games, dear God.
Uh huh.
And Ken Kutaragi, the engineer behind the PlayStation, the man who got PlayStation or Sony set up with Nintendo in the first place, is very pissed off.
Yes.
And he goes to his bosses, and his bosses, the head of Sony, I believe it's a Mr. Olga, Noria Olga. Bad at pronouncing Japanese names. I'm sorry. He says he is absolutely 110% pissed off, probably more than anyone, because that dude was known for being a straight up fucking savage.
Okay.
And Ken Kutarai's, look, man, we can still save it. We can make our own system. We can make our own game division. And according to what people have said, the head boss at Sony just pounded his fist on the desk and said, "Do it."
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, that'd be my response too. My response would be, "Here is all the money we can bother to give you. Fuck them up."
Well, like, what did the games like because they had begun development on the PlayStation, right?
Yeah, like they
As
started.
the add-on.
Yeah, the add-on. There are. They manufactured some of the early add-ons and then scrapped it.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've seen at least one copy got out.
yeah, one got out. Like some Sony employee like saved it, and now it like tours in like video game history museums. Shit.
Right. And
Which
but like it doesn't function, right?
it boots. It just doesn't play anything.
Like,
Um,
so what was it supposed to do on using the Super Nintendo system? How was it going to look? It wasn't going to look like the PlayStation,
no, it was gonna look like a Super Nintendo that like you have a CD add-on on top.
but it's. Well, what was the CD doing? What was it?
So, have you ever played a Sega CD?
No.
Okay, well, it'd be like the Sega CD. Like you'd be able to add, bigger levels because because there's more storage, and you'll be
Oh,
able
so it's
to
just use. It's just basically being more storage
like
to.
you'll be able to have FMV cutscenes now.
Oh man.
You'll have to have like stereo movie quality audio.
Okay.
You'll be able to play Night Trap.
But yeah, but the graphics are not. They're still just like it's
No,
limited to the
no.
Super Nintendo system, so it's
Yeah,
just more storage in that respect.
right. And that was never the problem with the SNES anyway. It was already more powerful than its competitors at the time.
Well, right.
Except the Neo Geo, and the Neo Geo was so insanely expensive
That yeah, it didn't matter anyway.
that you couldn't possibly, like that thing was not meant to compete in the console war. That thing was just
No,
that
everything
was
I've seen of that says no.
that thing was meant to for enthusiasts who really wanted to bring the arcade home.
Yeah.
That's what it was meant for.
Yep. Uh,
Um,
so okay, yeah,
so
and then because of that
and because
nonsense.
yeah, so they go out and they try and so they can't make their own division yet. So they actually end up being a part of Sony Music.
Oh,
And Sony internally is very split on this. Half the company thinks this is stupid and is going to fail. Half the company thinks this is a great idea. Just all kinds of shit like this. And they go out and they do something smart that a lot of because the early '90s is filled with failed video game systems.
yeah.
The Newton, the Turbo Graphics, the Vitrix, you name it. You
Oh
know,
God, there's so much.
so Sony did something smart. They said, okay, we don't know how to make games. We're not Nintendo. We're not Sega. We're gonna go out and we're gonna buy a whole bunch of publishers or get a whole bunch of publishers to make games for us. Um, and here's how they did that. One, they gave a bigger cut than Sega or Nintendo did. Two, in most cases, they let them keep the distribution rights.
Okay.
And three, because they were on CD, the games were easier to produce, which means they were cheaper to put out, cheaper to print. And unlike Nintendo, Sony didn't control the only way of manufacturing them.
Okay.
So, and then a lot of developers who were making games for the Nintendo 64. Final Fantasy VII was supposed to be an N64 game. Heard Nintendo was going with cartridge. And they decided, fuck this, we out,
Yep.
bounced out, and, well, there you go.
So it's just because PlayStation had the better uh, technology stuff that could hold more data and all that. Um, which I like the physical properties of a cartridge compared to a disc, but you can't deny that the disc just it's just gonna hold so much more stuff.
Yeah, like, well,
Cartridge is not gonna do it.
yeah, like at the time, that was very much the case, and the whole industry you could tell was moving to CD, but
Yep.
Nintendo was afraid of piracy.
They still are.
They still very much are, which is why we still get proprietary formats with them.
Hmm.
But they were so deathly afraid of piracy that even though the entire industry was saying, no, we're going to CD, no, we're going to CD, no, we're going to CD, they fucking said no. And because of that, like, a lot of big games were exclusive or just better on PlayStation.
Mm.
You know, Resident Evil 1 exclusive, Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, Chrono Cross, Metal Gear, Symphony of the Night. Like, there's just a bunch of stuff that's just not on other systems, and yeah, it was a very the early day, like, just Nintendo being Nintendo and being arrogant as hell, or that era Nintendo at least, it really bit them in the ass. They went from being the market leader, having, over 50% of the market, to barely being in second place.
Well, okay, so here's the thing: is uh, do you when you said that, I was thinking like, is Nintendo necessarily the bad guy? They made the wrong decision in trying to stick with cartridge, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
and they felt like they were Super Nintendo. We have the Nintendo seal of approval. No piracy, no piracy. But in terms of the owning of the rights to the games portion of that debacle, do you think Nintendo was in the right
I think that
in that
Nintendo.
respect?
I think Nintendo was right to bounce out of that deal. I think
Yeah.
that they were very wrong to bounce out of it in the way that they did.
Yes.
Like the way that they did that was completely fucked. Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah. So yeah, that's so that that's part of it, and third parties, were third parties were tired of Nintendo shit when Sega got popular. The whole reason Sega got popular and got a bunch of third party games is because Sega was like, "Hey, we'll cut you a better deal than Nintendo, because I'm sure you're tired of their shit."
Yep.
And because here's a couple of rules that were only on the original Nintendo. If you are a publisher on the original Nintendo, you can only publish 5 games a year.
What?
Yep, because
Why?
they felt that most publishers, if they did any more, you wouldn't be able to maintain the level of quality that Nintendo wanted on the system.
Wow.
They did not want
They didn't want
another.
the Wii issue of just sending out whatever the hell.
They didn't want the video game crash of the early '80s.
Oh.
Because remember, they just like the America is just coming out of the video game crash at this point.
And they're doing better than ever, but like that's still fresh in everyone's
Yeah,
minds.
that's still that is still very fresh in pretty much everyone's minds. So that's the primary reason why that one happened.
Yep.
So so what you had to do is you either had to do what Rare did and get special permission from Nintendo to make more, or which in 90% of the time they did not grant, or you
Yeah.
had to do what Konami did and open up a second publisher, like basically a like shadow studio to publish
Right.
to publish 5 other games,
Okay.
um,
That makes sense.
which costs you, of course, more time, money, and effort. But
Yep.
the selling on the Nintendo was so lucrative because they owned over like 90% of the market.
Right.
So yeah, if you had a hit, you had a big hit. Then, but developers hated this. They hated Nintendo's rules. They hated having just all this proprietary stuff. And then Sega comes along and says, "Hey, we'll give you a bigger cut of the pie. We'll make it so you can publish as many games as you want in a year, etc., etc." And then I highly recommend you read this book, Sega versus Nintendo, or Console Wars, Sega versus Nintendo. It'll give you a ton of insight into this. It's one of the best books I've ever read in regards to the history of video games.
Okay.
Yeah, so that thing combined with a bunch of they were already sick of Nintendo shit 4 years before the PlayStation even existed. So PlayStation to come along and say, "We'll give you an even better deal. We'll put it on CD. And look, we're focused on 3D, and we're gonna be out a year and a half before them." I mean, kind of a
When you,
big, you
yeah,
know,
when you're technology a technological company and you're selling all sorts of other products already and you're making money that way, and then you not only have the technology to make a game console and the money to back it, but you've also been burned
yeah,
by a company like Nintendo. Like those three things together, it's like, all right, let's get fucking aggressive with this.
yeah, no, and they did, and they didn't even throw that much money at it. They were like this weird offshoot project, like ran within Sony Music.
Really?
Yeah, at first
Huh.
anyway, and then eventually they became Sony Computer Entertainment,
Yeah.
Eventually, they just became PlayStation. You
Yeah.
know? And then yeah, like that, and the original PlayStation beat the brakes off of the Super Nintendo or the N64 and the Saturn so hard that the next generation was a foregone conclusion, basically.
Right.
Now, granted, Nintendo did not help themselves with mini disc, and they
No.
also didn't help themselves with their image. But even with all that, like, just PlayStation 2 just beat the living crap out of them, right?
Was mini disc another attempt at proprietary?
Yep. Yep,
Yeah,
yep. Stop piracy.
which didn't work anyway.
And also had less storage than DVD.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Ah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Uh, so yeah, they're in this weird. So Nintendo. So Sony comes out and they do everything right. They put
Right.
out like you. We've had the discussion of Sega and Sony and Nintendo during that era of games, but like, man, the PlayStation library just craps on the other two so hard. Like, just so unbelievably hard. Like,
Sure.
look, the N64 has some great games. It really does. Some of them are classics that still hold up to this very day.
Yep.
But I went in and I like did a like if you do a top 50 N64 games list, you barely get there.
Right.
With a PlayStation, you get there no problem. And the Saturn, you might be able to do a top 40 list if you're lucky.
Mm,
Like
okay.
the games that are great on it are in fact great, especially like the arcade ports once again. But yeah, and then the next gen was lining up, right? The GameCube, the Xbox, the Dreamcast, and the PlayStation.
Yep.
Sega comes out first. They're wildly aggressive, etc., etc. But they just didn't have the money to stay in the game.
No.
They just did not have the capital. The thing was is the whole thing about Dreamcast is they need to sell X amount of units before PS2 is out, and
Yep.
they didn't get there. And the entire Dreamcast existence is overshadowed by this big monolith, right? That is PlayStation 2.
Right.
And then a lot of people, and it was just a lot of people like, hey, why are you making a Dreamcast? Oh, PlayStation 2 is coming. PlayStation 2 is coming.
Yep.
And PlayStation 2, like, people are like, and then, like, EA wasn't making games for Dreamcast because they got so burned by the Saturn. So even though ESPN 2K was a better football game and the 2K sports games were better, people were like, oh, well, I want to play Madden.
Yep.
And you have, and then you have the fact that, oh, it's a DVD player.
Yeah. On
Yeah.
top of everything else.
Which was huge, which I know that seems quaint as fuck now. I realize that. Like, the idea of, oh, a DVD player sold a system. But, like, this is when DVD was new. It was the future of movies. Like, it looked so much better than VHS. And
well, also, how much did a DVD player cost at that time?
like $400 to $500.
It was nuts.
So the fact that you could get a DVD player in your $300 PlayStation was fucking
That's
insane.
incredible.
And it played all your PS1 games.
Yep.
Like, PlayStation 2 made every right decision as well. Which we'll get to the fall of Rome in a minute here.
Yeah. We're fine.
Like, PS2 was so successful that it made PSP a foregone success. Like,
Sure.
publishers just made great games for the first 2 years of PSP, even though it didn't sell anything yet because of how successful PS1 and PS2 were.
Right.
And once again, PS2 launched really weak. It didn't have a whole lot at launch. But these are some games that were out within the first year of PS2. Okay?
All right.
I'm gonna run them by you. Gran Turismo 3.
Mm-hmm.
Ico.
All right.
Final Fantasy X.
Wow.
Devil May Cry.
Wow.
Metal Gear Solid 2,
Man.
Jack and Daxter,
All right.
Silent Hill 2,
Okay.
Grand Theft Auto 3,
All right.
Ace
Wow.
SSX Tricky,
Wow.
Ace Combat.
The first?
I forget which one.
Okay.
Uh, and then Tekken Tag Tournament.
Okay.
And then, funnily enough, a worse version of DOA 2 than the Dreamcast one.
All right.
But, yeah, man. Like,
That's a hell of a list.
that is right. And then you factor in, like, you know, and then you factor in the stuff that is, God, what was it? What was it called? Then you factor in the stuff that's just like big name multiplats and like things of that nature, and you're like, oh, okay,
Yep.
this makes sense.
Yep.
I'm gonna pull up a list here of, and then it was backwards compatible, so Final Fantasy IX was playable on it. That it came out that year.
Man,
Like
don't you love backwards compatibility?
I do, I really do. I know it's a feature that people like bitch and moan about, like not being important, but like
What are you
here,
talking about?
here's why it's important.
Ugh.
The first year of a system usually isn't that great, so being able to play all your old shit kind of matters.
Man, the amount of skate I would be streaming right now if I could.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can play the first Skate on an Xbox One, I think.
You could play Skate 1 and 3,
Oh, but not Skate 2?
but not Skate 2, which is, in
Weird.
my opinion, the best one. But
Weird, but okay.
it's weird, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, that
Oh,
alone would have gotten me to buy an Xbox One, but whatever.
Red Faction.
Red Faction.
That came out. The
Yep.
Baldur's Gate games hit Windows, but that's not. Let's see. Oh, Dark Angel, Vampire Apocalypse, that hit PS2.
What?
Um, let's see. Oh, of course you had Madden.
Yeah, yeah.
Like no surprise there.
The jump from PS1 to PS2 graphics was also quite something.
Yeah, that was. I mean, that was a generational jump in my mind. Like
Yep.
that. Like Time Crisis 2. That was a PS2 game. Let's see. No, I think I'm running out of quality here, but even Soul Reaver 2.
Okay.
It was Ace Combat 4.
Hell yeah. Ace Combat 4.
SSX Tricky. I know that's multiplat, but still.
Yeah, it is
Um,
multi-plat. At this
let's
point, there's so many exclusive games that you know you want to also have a good multi-plat
yeah.
setup. But
Let's see. Shadow Hearts, which I know a lot of people really love.
sure.
And that was kind of it.
All right.
But that's still like that is a hell of a first year, especially
Yeah.
back then. And then like they just kept that going. I mean, how many franchises are on PS2, right? Like
Oh
DMC
man.
3, God of War 1 and 2, Persona 3 and 4. Fucking like the list goes on and on and on.
We could sit here for a while. I tried to find a list of PlayStation releases by year, and I couldn't find it. And I honestly think it would be a hell of a list to try and cover.
Oh, for
Because
sure.
I remember that I have never been a big game collector, but especially before this was before digital sales of games and things like that. The most I ever had of games for a console was PlayStation, like easily getting close to 30,
Oh,
if not
PS2.
40. PS2.
Yeah, and then you had the fact that it had the Tony Hawk games and the SOCOM
Yep.
games, and like, yes, okay, they did in a lot of cases you did get the worst version of SOCOM and the worst or not SOCOM, Splinter Cell, and the worst version. Oh, Virtua Fighter 4. That was that was a 2001 PS2 game.
Sure.
Yeah, in a lot of cases you did get like the worst multiplat, especially later in the life. Like
Yeah.
if you were playing Burnout 3, you wanted to play it on an Xbox.
Yeah.
Same thing. Same thing with Prince of Persia. Same thing with Beautiful Joe. being better on the GameCube. Same thing with Beyond Psychonauts being better on Xbox, so on and so forth. But like you pull up a like top like Metacritic top PS2 games, right?
All right.
And like, dude,
Read it. Read it.
like this is madness, is what it is. All right, hold on. It's oh god, it just all right.
Oh no.
Tony Hawk 3,
All
Grand
right.
Theft Auto 3,
Yep.
Grand Theft Auto Vice City and San Andreas, Metal Gear
Yep.
2, Resident Evil 4, Devil May Cry, Metal Gear 3, Virtua Fighter 4, God of War 2, Okami, NFL 2K3, Guitar Hero. The first two Guitar Heroes were on.
Dude, it did. That's where the Guitar Hero started.
Yeah, Twisted Metal Black, Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah.
We're still in the 90s.
Well, yeah. There were
Yeah,
a lot of games that came out
the
then.
NCAA football games, the NBA and NFL Streets,
Yes.
the Medal of Honor Frontline, the Tekken
Mm-hmm.
5,
Mm-hmm.
Sly Cooper, Ratchet and
Sly
Clank,
Cooper came out. Ratchet and
Baldur's
Clank.
Baldur's Gate,
Yep.
like just dude,
On and on and on. There were so many games that came out specifically for PS2, if not exclusive, but multi-plat. You know, just
yeah, because PS2 got everything. It not only got bomb diggity exclusives, it got every multiplat that they could get to run on it.
it was that console that, if you wanted to cast the widest net for games, PlayStation was the console.
Like here's the thing: if you just wanted to be safe, and you didn't know that person's taste, you bought him a PS2.
Sure.
Like it was the video game box at the time.
Yeah.
Now, personally, I love the GameCube, but like it had the Nintendo. It probably had some of the best multi-plat support of any Nintendo console, but even then, it still had the Nintendo problem of this is here to play Nintendo games.
Yep.
And then the original Xbox, that system was ahead of its time, but it was like not ready for market.
Sure.
You look up, like, here's the thing: if you had both, then I think that you typically bought your multi-platforms on Xbox. They looked way better, they ran way better, and eventually Xbox Live did happen.
Yep.
You know, like
That's true.
Splinter Cell Chaos Theory is so much better on the original Xbox. Like, it's not even a competition.
Well, I think of Splinter Cell as an Xbox
Yeah, well,
thing because of Chaos Theory.
no, yeah, that's because it was like even if you played the PS2 one, which I eventually did, dude, the difference is night and day. Like it's like playing a game on the fucking like original Xbox and then playing an end of era 360 game.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's crazy. And then you had Halo 2 and Forza and like there was some real good stuff on the original Xbox, but a lot of it was very niche or it was very new and it was stuff that just normally didn't come to consoles.
Right.
Like it had Morrowind, like Morrowind on a console blew people's fucking minds. Like Jade Empire and KOTOR on a console blowing minds. Doom 3 and Half-Life 2 got pretty decent ports.
Sure.
Like for the time. But yeah, like you look at Xbox's like best stuff and a lot of it is multiplats or like stuff that just normally wouldn't get put on a console anyway.
Yep.
And like the reason that Halo is so big is because it was the first console shooter that played like a PC shooter. And they
Right.
finally figured out control and whatnot in a way that made it fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the original Xbox, and then I remember the Xbox was like the new kid on the block at the time,
Yep.
and they were trying to establish themselves, and yeah, they did a hell of a job with that first Halo.
They did.
Like that first Halo, man, way to get out there. But
Yeah.
that first Halo, way to get out there. But it just wasn't enough to turn the tide of this, brand that was kind of unfucking stoppable.
At that point, yes.
Nintendo, as we keep alluding to.
Uh huh.
And then the PSP came, and it wasn't as successful as the DS, but
No.
it still did, bomb numbers. It has a lot of great games on it. I think PSP is on my list of like most underrated systems of all time.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
during the PS2's life cycle, the PSP launched, had a very strong launch, had a bunch of great games for it. Luminous, God of War, Peace Walker, you name it.
Yep.
But the next one we need to talk about is PS3.
Yeah, we've been kind of avoiding that.
This was the first real fuck up for PlayStation. All right, I'm gonna give you a couple of when it was first announced, this thing seemed like a future tech fucking oddity. When this thing was originally announced, what it was supposed to have is 2 HDMI ports, so you could dual screen.
Yep.
So you'd have 2 screens next to each other, playing like making one big screen. It was supposed to have like 8 USB ports and all this media card stuff, and it was basically supposed to replace your PC. And they cut a lot of, and what ends up happening, as we've talked about in the past, is it cut out this, as they cut out a lot of that stuff as they went because it made it too expensive. And then they originally wanted to launch in spring of 06, but they had to delay because of the Blu-ray laser. Just not enough of those were being made. So E3 06 comes around.
Right.
And they have what is probably one of the top 3 worst E3 presentations of all time. Giant enemy crabs.
Yep.
Ridge Racer.
Yep.
It's still, like, the whole reason that I think a game console will not be $600 for a long time is because of $599 US.
And just like.
And just silence.
Uh.
$499 US for the one that doesn't have Wi-Fi. It doesn't have, it only has 20 gig hard drive. So, so.
So weird.
Yeah, and it bombs. The first year of that system was just bailing water.
Yep.
First 2 years of that system was so that bombs. And while that is bombing, with the exception of the Red Ring of Death, the 360 is thriving.
That should say a lot that their Red Ring of Deaths and like Xbox dying on the regular, and it was still easily outperforming PlayStation.
Yeah, and like you compare the two E3s, and Sony showed a lot of games, but with the exception of their launch lineup, which outside of Resistance looked very weak, and MotorStorm, which was going to be early Q1, it was like, okay, a lot of this stuff looks cool, but when's it coming? Versus Xbox is like, well, our system's out now, and you can play Oblivion, and you can play PGR3, and you've been playing Gears this upcoming holiday along with Viva Pinata, and Grand Theft Auto is coming to us day and date.
Mm-hmm.
And also, while we're discussing all this, oh look, Halo is coming next year.
Yeah.
And Xbox Live was so much better than PSN. All right, I want to like explain to you how big, like, now they're pretty even. Xbox Live is a little more stable. That's all I can really say for it now in its favor. The gap back then between Xbox Live and PSN was ridiculous.
Yep.
For the first 8 months of the PS3's existence, you didn't have a built-in store.
Oh God, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, what it would do, let's say I want to go purchase Super Stardust, right?
Yeah.
I would click on the store icon, and it would load up the web browser on the PS3.
All right. Wow.
And
wow.
it would take me to a store. So one of the big selling points of that system was it could play PS1 and PS2 games. And and that you could put the PS1 games on the PSP. But the only way you could do this is if you bought the game on the PS3, hooked your PSP to it, and transferred it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just, buying it on the PSP.
Yeah, that'd be good.
On top of all of this, the launch, and on top of all of this, it was hard to program for. It used Power PC, similar to the Wii and the GameCube, and the PS2 and the 360, but it used a very specific new version of it known as the Cell architecture, which in theory made it hyper powerful, more powerful than any of the other consoles out at the time. However, it made it unbelievably hard to program for, and Sony didn't make good tools for it. In fact, they put out most of their tools only in Japanese.
Oh no!
There's this entire video series that you can look up. Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up right now.
All right.
But it's Mark Cerny, The Road to PS4. It is a 47-minute conversation about how they wanted to fix every mistake they made with PS4, or made with PS3 while making PS4.
Okay.
So on top of this, it was incredibly hard to program for.
Yeah.
So it's expensive, it's poorly optimized, it doesn't have a good UI yet, and it has 2 games that matter coming out in the first 6 months. So let's talk about how this shit show.
Yeah.
This was such a bad launch that Peter Moore at Xbox said, well, for the price of a PS4, you could go buy a 360 and a Wii. Which I did.
Well,
so,
yeah.
And on top of that, like, you just compare just like, man, look at all these great 360 games you can play right now. DOA, Gears, like, the 360 had a full year library. And PlayStation's like, you can play Resistance. You can play worse versions of some of these multiplats. And then MotorStorm's out in a couple weeks.
Cool.
And MotorStorm and Resistance are good games.
Yeah, sure.
I like them a lot. But neither of those games are system sellers. As proven by the fact that we haven't gotten either of them on PS4.
No, those died with 3.
Unfortunately, because I would love a new MotorStorm. Unfortunately, the studio went on to go make Drive Club and die.
I think with the creation of Onrush recently, I think MotorStorm has a reason to come back. They have a format to improve upon, but...
Dude, that third MotorStorm was so good.
Sure.
It was such a good game. Like, and same with that third Resistance. I think that third Resistance might be the best shooter campaign of that generation.
I need to play that game again because I don't know what you're drawing from when you say that, but...
Just so many good weapons, cool set pieces. Like, they basically ripped off Half-Life.
Sure.
Which, I mean, if you're gonna choose a game to hold down...
To rip off your campaign mode for.
Yeah, like, if you're like, alright, we're gonna make a shooter with a bunch of really cool weapons... Which, other than that, we don't really have anything going on. Which one are we going to rip off? Half-Life.
Yeah.
And they did an amazing job.
I'll have to play that again.
I love it.
Yeah, because that didn't survive past Resistance 3. They were done with that IP.
I mean, to be fair, the way it ends kind of makes it, like, really
what are you supposed
hard.
to do?
Yeah. They made a trilogy and they ended that shit.
They actually decided to end it like people want, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh. I guess not like a lot of people are asking for another Resistance, but
they teased something on social media recently.
Really?
Yeah, they put out a picture of like one of the Chimera soldiers, and then posted something with it.
Okay, interesting.
So, man, I would love it so much if the reason they bought Insomniac was not Spider-Man 2 as a launch title, Resistance 4. That would be such a Sony move.
Oh, that'd be terrible.
That would be such a PS3 era Sony move, and I would love it because
No.
PS3 is my favorite era of PlayStation, which I'll get into that in a minute.
I know that because you're talking about like how awful the launch was and how awful the online store was and things
Right,
like that. But I remember you being a big fan of PlayStation as soon as you finally jumped in on it because I think
right,
we all went Xbox to start.
right, because I saw the turn happen at both sides, which I'll get to that in a minute. And
Yeah.
really, its first year was just rough as hell.
Yes.
Like by the time summer hits, you get at least one other game, which is Ninja Gaiden Black, which is the best version of Ninja Gaiden, and it looks great and it plays great. But it's like, okay, but hey, we just had E3. We're getting all the multi-plats Xbox is getting. Our store is no longer a web page, and we're fixing our online up a little bit. It's more stable. It's more ready to go.
Hmm.
Um, and we have all these games. We have this new game by Naughty Dog called Uncharted coming out. We got a Ratchet and Clank coming out. Lair looks amazing. It's coming out. It's by the Rogue Squadron guys.
Uh huh.
And we got Heavenly Sword and Warhawk. Just look at all these exclusives coming.
Yep.
And the problem is while Sony had a lot of guns, Microsoft had the biggest gun.
Yes.
They had Halo 3.
Good lord.
And Halo 3, let me put this in perspective for you. For people who don't understand how big Halo 3 was. Like how huge Halo 3 was at the time. And that's this. Halo 3 I've only seen this happen one other time, and it was actually fairly recently, where almost everyone on my friends list was playing the same game and logged on.
And I assume
I
your friends list is large.
I have on
Okay.
all platforms. I have at least 80 friends.
Okay.
So, because I have a lot of online friends and a lot of people I've met over the years, that just it adds up. And even back then, that was the case.
Sure.
And because I was in a lot of clans and forums and whatnot. So, all 80 some odd people were online and playing Halo 3 except for two guys,
Okay. Who are playing?
Halo 2 and Gears of War.
I like the idea of one guy being like, I can't afford Halo 3, so, but I don't want to be left out on this. We're playing
maybe,
Halo 2.
maybe he just really liked Halo 2 that much. It was,
Some people really did,
I,
but I,
I played it all the way up until 3 was out, so, you know. Uh,
man,
but so Halo 3, so Sony had a lot of these little guns, and I'll go over how those individually went, but Microsoft had the biggest gun.
yep,
The by far the biggest gun, and its backup guns of PGR4 did really well, and Mass Effect turned into a phenomenon.
yes,
Now, Mass Effect would eventually go on to be on the PlayStation, but it was exclusive for the first 3 years of its existence.
yeah,
So let's see how those PlayStation games went. Warhawk did really well. It really came at the right time when the online was picking up. It came with a headset, so everyone was communicating while playing. Because
I yeah, I remember Warhawk being a little more lukewarm than you're saying, but that did well.
it did. The thing is, though, is it did well, and they finally had an online game.
Yeah,
And then on top of that, ton of people bought it. So finally, people had headsets. Because a big thing about why Xbox Live was so great is every Xbox came with a headset.
yep,
Versus back then, every PlayStation did not.
and because online was not too much of a thing, almost no one had headsets.
Almost no one went out and bought a Bluetooth headset. So
Yeah,
the
that's
fact
not a
that
thing.
so the fact that their big online exclusive came with one was a big fucking deal.
Yep.
So you had a bunch of people. So Warhawk did well. It did well. It was a good game. I loved it. I loved playing that game. It was fantastic. And then Lair comes out, and it's a giant piece of shit,
Yeah.
which is such a bummer because I remember Quinn nearly buying a PS3 just to play it, And I'm like, wait for
Uh,
the reviews, man. And like it just was a giant piece of shit.
it looked cool.
You know,
I thought so.
it did look cool, but they shoehorned the six axis. It had load time and graphics issues.
Yep.
All this shit that led up to just a giant, bigger problem.
Yep.
Heavenly Sword. It was a good game, but it was only 6 hours long, if that. Great performances, solid story, good combat. Just too short. You could beat it on a rental.
Sure.
Ratchet and Clank was actually the first probably great game for them that wasn't a re-release since Resistance. That in fact that is my second favorite Ratchet and Clank is Tools of Destruction.
Sure.
And then their big holiday release, which was a good game for the time. Probably like you go back and you play that original Uncharted, and like the gameplay is a little rough, but you can see what would eventually be there in two. Like there's some of those set pieces. There's that great acting. It looks beautiful for a 2007 game in Uncharted.
Yeah.
Yeah. But here are some things that kind of kick their holiday season in the butt. One, the existence of Halo and Mario. So that.
That won't help.
Two, one of the big games for that holiday season on your platform was the Orange Box. Your version got delayed by 2 months, and even that got delayed by 2 months, it still had massive frame rate issues and bug issues, and the people at Valve shit talked your console. I'm gonna see if I can get that exact quote pulled up. Hold on.
Sure.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, here we go. And yeah, Gabe Newell calls PS3 a waste of everybody's time.
Man.
He blasted Sony due to its frustrating architecture, calling the system a waste of everybody's time. Investing in Cell, investing in SPEC gives you no long-term benefits. There's nothing that you're going to apply to anything else. You're not going to gain anything except a hatred of the architecture they've created.
Wow.
Because of his distaste for PS3, the critically acclaimed Orange Box is not being ported to PS3 by Valve. Rather, EA is claiming to port, and he's confident they'll make the PS3 version a good product. EA got the job done in putting a lot of people with PS3 experience on the project. He does note it's hard to get the same standard as the Xbox 360 and PSC versions.
Okay.
Also note, the first year of Madden on the PS3 ran at half the frame rate of the Xbox 360 version. It ran at 30 instead of 60.
Damn it.
So the one bright spot when it came to multiplats, there was one bright spot.
Okay.
And there oh, and also, sorry, there's one more part of the game, no quote. I don't think they're going to make money off their box. I don't think it's a good solution. So as for the one good multi, and Fear had a similar issue because that was another thing that I reported.
That's right.
Also a great game. But the one good lone spot in this fucking nightmare, this one good bit, is the fact that Call of Duty 4 ran great on PS3.
Yeah.
They got it running great on all three platforms.
Man.
And this would continue to be a problem, by the way, all the way up until like 2009, 2010. Because like Bayonetta had a similar issue, and Bayonetta, the PS3 version, in most people's opinions, is a full point worse than the 360 version.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. That was always a big issue going in.
So, but things started to rebound in 2008. Gran Turismo 5 Prologue hit, Grand Theft Auto hit, and looked and ran better on PS3. And then you had Sony finally had a big gun. A game that you could say that is worth buying the console for. By itself with no qualifiers.
And was exclusive.
And was exclusive. A Halo 3 level game. and that was Metal Gear 4. Yeah.
It's it was a big deal. I'm not gonna say Halo 3 level.
I shouldn't say Halo 3 in terms of popularity, but I'm saying in terms of quality and ability to get someone to consider buying a box.
Sure. Yes.
Um,
A console seller.
yes. Yes, absolutely. And then that holiday season hit, and you got the first Little Big Planet. Big system seller, very unique new IP, great game. You're getting MotorStorm and Resistance sequels. And Burnout Paradise ran better on PS3. And the
Ah.
icing on this cake is trophies finally hit. They finally have their version of achievements.
Yep.
So now we're getting a little momentum going.
Yep.
And then finally you have 2009, which most people see as the turnaround year. Because Street Fighter came out,
Yep.
and Street Fighter came out, did really well. It was multi-plat, ran fine on PlayStation. Resident Evil 5 ran better on PlayStation. And then you had Killzone 2.
Fucking Killzone 2, man.
First great online shooter.
Yeah.
E3 happens, they show off Twisted Metal, and they show off God of War, and they show off Uncharted 2. And they
Ah.
finally show off a slim model. And not only do they show off a slim model, the console is how much? $300 finally.
Yep.
While Xbox is sitting over here being like, hey, we're doing another Forza, we're doing a Halo expansion. This was
Yep.
the first year of Xbox getting into a routine that they were in from 2009 until 2014-ish, which was Gears, Halo, Forza, Fable. Gears, Halo, Forza, Fable. Gears, Halo, Forza, Fable. And then eventually it was Gears, Halo, Forza, Fable, Dance Central.
Hmm.
And that was kind of their pattern. And that was the pattern that allowed PS3 to catch up because, well, Microsoft is doing the same thing over and over and over again. And, yeah, they released a slimline version of their box, and Xbox Live Summer Arcade is still a big deal. It's not like PlayStation's out here being like, hey, we got Uncharted 3, and we got Little Big Planet 2, and we have we have the better versions of the Mass Effect ports now. And we have, the better version of GTA 5, and we have and check out this Starhawk thing, check out this Resistance 3 thing, check out this just this long list of quality games. And they finally turned it around. Puppeteer, Gran Turismo 5 and 6. They finally turned it around in the back half, but it took everything they had for all the entire time.
Oh yeah, just to get it back to everyone fighting at the same level.
Yeah.
Like it took till the end.
Yeah, like it took all the way until like the last 2 years or so of that system for people to be like, yeah, they're even.
Right, and even then, I think at that point, it was like, well, all my friends have Xbox,
Yeah.
and like, they were getting cheap enough that everyone could buy both.
Yeah, and most people I knew bought a PlayStation to have as the exclusive box.
Right.
Like that's what they had it for. I used it as my primary box because I had so many red rings at that point. I was just sick of it that I was
Sure.
just like, I will deal with some multi-plat problems if it means my system will actually not fucking break.
Yep.
Yeah, that system, and that system I actually still use it today quite a bit.
Sure.
Because of all that multimedia BS that they built into it, it ends up being pretty future proof in some ways. Like you can still watch a bunch of movies on it, and use as a good music player and shit.
Yeah. Why not?
So, and I have a bunch of great games on that thing that I only have that are locked to that system. So
That's a big problem. Is I'd like my skate games to be playable off the PS3, and they can't be. But
because you can blame Ken Kutaragi for going insane and putting this terrible architecture in that no one wanted to use, and it makes it nearly impossible to make this shit backwards compatible.
yeah.
There have been many talks about this, and like like Microsoft, yeah, it was real hard to get those 360 games running. But at least that like ran somewhat like a normal computer.
Sure.
This is just so unique that porting anything from it is just a ginormous pain in the ass.
Yep.
So and then
Amazing.
PS4 they did, in my opinion, they did everything right except their exclusives took too long to get out
Ah,
because they launched at the right price. They had the exact opposite message of Microsoft. They were $100 cheaper. They innovated in the share feature stuff. They attacked their opponent in every possible way they could.
yep.
The only thing bad about it is, so it launched with Killzone and Resogun. Infamous came a few months later, and then we don't get another exclusive for a full year with Bloodborne. And then we don't get another exclusive for another 10 months, unless you count the Uncharted collection,
Yeah.
with Street Fighter V. Now, 2016 is when it did pop off, because you got Street Fighter V, Ratchet and Clank, Uncharted 4, and The Last Guardian.
Right.
And then the year after that, you had Horizon, Nier, Persona, Uncharted, and the better version of Destiny 2.
But at that point, they had rallied so hard against Microsoft in messaging,
Oh yeah,
specifically with the way Xbox One launched,
yeah.
that they kind of had the front running regardless.
Yeah, it's the de facto third party platform for most people.
Yep.
It's not for me because, in fact, PlayStation is actually last in my food chain for third parties
Oh, okay.
because PC is always first.
Yep.
Then it goes to Xbox One X because games tend to look and run better. Xbox Live is more stable. Xbox Live just works better. And then PlayStation because PS4 Pro is the weakest of the bunch. And yeah, there are some exceptions. Like I bought Call of Duty on the PlayStation because that's where the most people are.
I see.
Like, and I buy fighting games on PlayStation because that's where the most people are.
Right.
But like, for example, like trying to think of a like Red Dead. Like the only reason I bought it on PlayStation is because I had a bunch of friends promising to play multiplayer. If I was like if that game was only had its single player, I would have absolutely got it on Xbox because it does look and run better.
Sure.
So same thing with DMC5 if it didn't have a PC port.
Right.
So
Okay.
yeah, and PlayStation 4, it's 100 million units, and in the middle of that whole PS3 shit show, they did the Vita, which I've talked about ad nauseum of how I think it's a criminally underrated console.
Yes.
So
But that's what it is. Favorite PlayStation game
favorite over like ever or on each
ever
system
of the
or
25 years.
Persona 4
PlayStation.
Golden.
Okay.
Either that or Metal Gear 3. I can give you my favorite on each console because that was something floating around Twitter that I did.
Yeah, that is. I saw you were actually doing that, so go ahead and do that.
PS1, it's Crash Bandicoot 2.
Okay.
PS2, it is Metal Gear Solid 3.
All right.
PS3, it is Uncharted 2.
Mm-hmm.
PS4, it is. Ooh, that is hard. Probably Red Dead Redemption 2.
All right.
Vita, it's Persona 4 Golden.
Okay.
And PSP, it is Peace Walker. Though Luminous is very close.
Okay.
And then they had one where it was, what was your first PlayStation system?
All right.
What was your first?
Well, we had a PlayStation 1 in our house, but my first system was 2.
Okay, so mine was a PS1.
Mm-hmm.
But it was technically my dad's. So the first one that was mine was a PS2.
Yeah.
As for what was my first PS1 game, it was Crash 2.
I remember the game that sold me on a PS2, and it was just very random because I wanted an Xbox because I saw Halo, so I got Xbox first. And I was at a friend's house, and it was totally a Gundam game.
You want to know what sold me on the thing that sold me on the PS1 is my dad had one and we had one in the house. I just wasn't fucking interested in it at all outside of like I thought that Final Fantasy thing looked cool.
Sure.
But like and that's how I started playing RPGs. Is but what got me really into it was Metal Gear and Digimon World.
Really?
Funnily enough. And then as for my favorite PlayStation system, it's the PlayStation 3.
Okay.
And I tend to like the console that's in second place because
Sure.
they're throwing weird shit at the wall and they're just seeing what sticks, and it ends up making a lot of really cool games, even if they don't do well commercially. Unfortunately.
Sure.
Oh,
There are some good
America.
nostalgic memories I have of PlayStation 3, despite being, lagging behind during that time. Because I got my PlayStation 3 in early '09.
Yeah,
I remember
you.
getting like Little Big Planet and Killzone and Street Fighter 4.
So you got yours a little bit after mine because
Yeah.
I got mine in October of '08 because, and the reason I bought it is I had a cousin who like I was a huge Metal Gear junkie at the time, but I just couldn't justify spending $400 for four. But then I had a
Yep.
cousin who let me like borrow it over a weekend and beat it, and I was like, I need this system. I need to play through this game like 80 more times.
Sure.
And I ended up playing through it like 8 more times. But
Damn.
yeah, so as for favorite, so yeah, as for it's probably the PS3, and then after that, I'd probably say the PS2 or the PSP.
Okay.
Yeah, what about you?
Oh Lord. I have fond memories of the PS2 just because I remember that being where I could get just about any game I wanted. It was one of my first consoles. Uh, PS3 was fun, but like I think it pales to 360 in terms of the user interface and all that.
Oh yeah, well yeah, it was also just like the influence it had. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly. PS4 has been fine so far. Like I
it's just safe and boring is the problem with it.
kind of yeah.
Like
Uh,
it's a good system. It has some great games on it, but like, Lord Almighty, is it boring?
they've been coming out with some interesting exclusives. One that's enraptured me currently, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't had the only one I've ever had real strong feelings for was PlayStation 2 for obvious reasons.
I think in my case, the one that I was really like I said, PS3 really like something about all its weird fucking like games was what had me. And then same thing with PSP, like just weird Japanese ports and the fact that you had a console experience on the go.
Yep,
So yeah, that's PlayStation.
that was PlayStation. 25 years, and
Here's to
now we're looking at the future
the
coming up.
future.
The future is here.
Future.
It says a little bit that 25 came out and there was not a huge celebration, probably because they have a lot of people working on this next run.
Yeah, supposedly it's fully backwards compatible with four, and it's going to be hyper powerful on seven nanometer Zen architecture, and all this other stuff. So
Speaking of next gen consoles,
speaking of,
that leads us to our next news article.
ooh, hit me,
Um,
hit me.
and we're probably going to speed through some of these other news articles
Yeah.
just because we spent all this time on PlayStation. But
Yes.
Microsoft is planning second next gen Xbox.
So yeah, they're planning to do what this gen did midway through, but at launch, which is they supposedly have a project of a less cheaper, less powerful Xbox codenamed Lockhart. While they revealed Xbox Scarlet, their high-end plans, the company did not mention its two console strategy 3. This year, Windows Central originally reported Lockhart's existed nearly a year ago. Kotaku now reports it's part of Microsoft's next-gen plans. Microsoft's essentially launching two next-gen consoles that will serve as successors to Xbox One S and Xbox One X. Lockhart will debut without a disk drive, much like the all-digital Xbox One S, and Microsoft is tweaking console hardware so it's less powerful than the main Scarlet, codenamed Anaconda. I love that that's the code name.
Sure. Yeah.
My Anaconda don't want.
No.
Oh god, we understand that Microsoft has been seeking feedback from developers on its next-gen Xbox plans in recent months, and we initially heard the company has scrapped its Lockhart plans ahead of E3. Microsoft hasn't finalized its next-gen Xbox hardware specs, but we understand Lockhart will now be a part of the holiday 2020 launch. Microsoft's Anaconda console will be the true next-gen leap, and sources tell The Verge that Microsoft is targeting more than 10 teraflops of graphical power on the particular console. Lockhart may change, but will debut with around 4.
Okay.
Which, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, so give me 1 second.
Yeah.
So that means that thing's only as powerful as a PS4 Pro.
Really?
Yeah, because the PS4 Pro hits 4.2. That means that thing is not even as powerful as an Xbox One X that hits 6.
What?
Yeah.
Weird. Okay.
Let's see. Kotaku reports Lockhart will include a solid-state drive and will target 1440p gaming. That's about what the PS4 Pro hits right now.
Okay.
Rather than 4K, that'll be available on the Anaconda.
Fine.
We understand Anaconda will both share next-gen hardware. Sources say Lockhart will be a next-gen CPU, but it'll be clocked slower than what's available on Anaconda.
Okay.
That means they'll be able to take advantage of SSD and CPU upgrades that are planned and games that is planned across both. It's not clear how Microsoft will separate pricing. Microsoft's been trailing the appetite for bundles like Xbox One All Access and sees the Imagine company will Lockhart with a similar offer. In a recent interview with The Verge, Phil Spencer said, refused to comment on rumors of 2 consoles for next gen. He said, I will say a learning from the Xbox One generation is we'll not be out of position on power or price. If you remember the beginning of this generation, we were $100 more expensive, and yes, we were less powerful. And we started Project Scarlet with leadership team in place with a goal of having market success. So.
All right.
This is dumb. I hate this.
Why is that, Bronson?
It's just release a fucking box. Just like, dude, like no one like. Do you remember the no one wanted the Xbox Arcade?
Yes, I do.
And no one wanted the 20 gig PlayStation 3.
Right.
And right now, most people choose to get a PS4 Pro or a Xbox One X instead.
Right.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because for a grown-ass adult, an extra $100 isn't that much more money.
I mean, sure.
And you get a markedly better experience.
Sure.
And that's what this is going to be. And 4K TVs are now the standard. It is hard not to buy a 4K TV when you go TV shopping.
Well.
So,
maybe for you. I don't know.
Shopping, not dumpster diving, man.
Okay, well. Yeah, no one's dumping their 4K TVs into the dumpsters just yet, and I'm really bummed about it. But
no, because if you were gonna go buy a full, let's say, Aaron, how big is your TV?
Oh God, I don't know. 30 something inches.
All right, so we're gonna look in the 30 inches right now at Best Buy for a 4K TV. I'm not gonna shop deals. I'm just gonna go TV and home theater. 4K Ultra HD TVs. We're not even going to worry about HDR or anything like that. Yeah, you can get a 50-inch for $280.
4K?
4K.
Jesus Christ.
You can get a 4K. You can get a 4K set for 43 inches for $230.
What brand is that?
Samsung.
Wow.
It's their older series. It's their 6900, which that means if you're an AV nerd like me, I probably wouldn't buy that TV because, I know there are better ones, but
sure.
What is the cheapest one I would buy? Let's see. Here
I
we
still
go.
remember when we went to CES and like 4K was this insane new thing.
Yeah, well, because that was 5 fucking years ago.
I know. 6, I think.
Yeah,
7.
6. Yeah, 6. It was
Yeah.
2013. It'll be 7 this January.
Ugh.
So yeah, like 4K now, you can get the 4K TV that I would buy at its lowest price is a TCL 4 series for $230
Man.
for a 43-inch television.
Yeah, that's actually not bad.
Now, the TV that I would prefer to buy, hold on,
Mm-hmm.
is a Vizio M series
Okay.
because it's the good combination of price and performance, and I'm a picture quality snob and whatnot.
Sure.
Let's see how much this thing is. So for a 50-inch, you're looking at $400,
Okay.
and for a 55-inch, which is what I have in my room now, is $550.
Which is a bit of money, but
But not out of
not what it could be.
not out of bounds for a grown adult at all.
Sure.
Not out of bounds at all. And like realistically, most people aren't going to be buying 55 inches. But I mean, dude, a 50-inch TV for $400, that's literally the price of the console. The console
Right.
will probably be more than that next year.
Yeah.
So your fucking Xbox will be more than your fucking television.
My God.
But yeah, no, TVs have gotten to the point of where like even 4K sets are unbelievably cheap.
I guess so.
Like I love how I click on like 1080p and they're confused.
What? What year is this?
Yeah, they're mostly monitors.
Oh my God. Well, yeah.
Like okay, so if you want a 32-inch Vizio 1080p TV, it's $170. At that
All
point,
right.
I'm like, why not pay the extra $60 and get a TCL 4 series?
Sure.
Like, what the fuck is happening?
I don't know.
What
What a crazy thing.
okay. But yeah, so I think this is dumb. Like, I think it is to attract a market that I think is very small. But but I get what they're doing here. It's the same reason they're putting their games out on PC. I get
Right.
what they're doing. It's the reason. The reason here is, hey, let's get as many people on board as humanly possible.
Yep.
Let's get as many people on board as humanly possible, so they are in the ecosystem.
Right.
I get it. It's just it's a bummer because that also means like some future titles may be gimped.
Yeah. Maybe.
But we'll see. And I'm kind of curious to see if PlayStation's doing this too.
Well, right. And I wonder, yeah, we don't even know what's going on hardware-wise entirely with this new Xbox and new PlayStation.
I hate the speculation shit. I'm so tired.
But that's the funnest part.
So tired. I want to know what is the cost, when is it coming out, so I can shut up, pre-order it, and get it out of the way.
But then, see, I like this part because, like, I mean, obviously we don't have the games to play or anything like that, but it's the realm of unknowns and the speculation, and then when it all comes out, it's like, oh, okay. Now we just gotta wait till it comes out, I guess.
Yeah, but like then it comes out and you get to try all the cool shit.
Yeah, that's true, but then it's not, like, half of it's not cool, at least.
I mean, you know what? This past gen hit most of its promises pretty well.
It did, but those were low promises too, I thought.
I'd say, hey man, they learned a very important lesson.
Yeah.
Keep your expectations low.
It didn't help, like, it's cool that we talked about the history of the PlayStation because, like, it was like PlayStation going from Super Nintendo and the Genesis to PlayStation 1 was this huge ass jump. 1 to 2 was a huge jump. 2 to 3 was a slightly smaller jump, but still a big jump.
Real big. Like, the HD is a different animal for sure.
Right, and then that jump from 3 to 4 was like, we don't know where to go from here. Here's a share button on your controller.
the thing is, like, I actually like went back and have played some 360 games recently that haven't got the Xbox One X up boost.
Yeah.
And man, yeah, you do notice a difference though.
No, there's totally a difference. There is. It's just like again, it's markedly less
Yeah,
and
I'd agree with that.
can be underwhelming, which makes me wonder. Like I've seen what HDR can do. I'm wondering how that will look with whatever original titles are being developed, and I'm sure it'll look fantastic. Um, but I'm much more curious about one, the hardware itself, but also two, the social aspects. Like they jumped on a bit of the streaming stuff at the beginning of this generation, but streaming has just developed so much since then. I wonder if they're going to lean a lot harder into it.
Oh,
Microsoft, getting some mixer integration to make streaming games
well,
and your webcam as easily as
oh,
possible.
Microsoft's already there, bro. Microsoft is already at that point because they are. You look at you like I know you don't have an Xbox One, but if you log on to the Xbox One X right now, the second page over is current Mixer streams and popular Mixer streams.
Well, sure. So they have a place where you can watch them.
And it's well, no, it's also like if you want to stream off the console to Mixer, it's super easy.
Can you
It,
like use your webcam and do like
yeah,
green screen stuff and
you can't do green screen stuff, but you can totally hook in a webcam
okay,
and
and
a
from
high
like
end
the
mic.
majority of streams are like just yeah, they're doing their room stuff or whatever, but they're
Well,
not like throwing up like be right back slides or
no, but like that. The first step for a lot of people is that like you
it
know
is. No. Like absolutely it is. I'm just saying like I think for this next generation they need to be integrating like the whole streaming
the whole XSplit
experience.
OBS
Yep.
setup in there. Yeah, I
I
can see
think
that.
yeah, I think that's what you got to do with these new consoles. Um
Uh,
so but yeah, I'm excited. I hope we deliver on some of this stuff. I hope some of this. Well, I hope all of it works out. No one wants something to fail necessarily,
yeah,
but
like here's the thing. I hope that after E3, both these boxes have a bunch of cool games lined up for them, and I want to go out and I want to buy them both.
right,
Or I want to go out and buy a PlayStation and upgrade the living shit out of my PC. Yeah,
sure,
like that's that's where I am with that. So we'll see.
yeah.
What do we got next?
So let's get on to the rest of the news stories. These are not as crazy or speculative or anything of that. We have Persona 5 Royal Phantom Thieves is now up for pre-order.
Yeah, so Phantom Thieves, Persona,
What's going on with Phantom Thieves?
Phantom Thieves. Uh,
Interesting name.
I'm gonna pull up the. That's the name of your group. You're the Phantom Thieves.
Phantom Thieves is pretty good.
You,
I don't know if it beats Investigation Team, but
you can actually name them in a game. Like it asks you like, hey, do you want to name your group anything,
oh, that's cool.
or do you just want to go with the Phantom Thieves?
That's
And
good.
I named mine the Diamond Dogs.
Okay.
David Bowie.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's good.
So, but no, okay. So they announced. So they've announced this edition of this game a while ago, which it's the big full like we're getting a brand new character with a bunch of extra stuff in it, or we're getting a brand new character with all these extra things in it and all these extra like um extra social link stuff and extra modes, and you can stay out at night. Like basically making a Persona 5 Golden,
Right.
if you were.
Is basically
Uh,
what this is.
yeah, except this is going even further than Golden did.
Okay.
So and that they have a release date.
All right.
It's coming. It's out in Japan. It's gonna be out in the U.S. on March 31st.
Yeah, which March is looking to
Dude,
be a big month.
Doom, Animal Crossing, Final Fantasy. Now
When's Last of
this
Us 2 coming out?
May.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're getting a brand new character. Um,
Yep.
she looks cool.
All
Like
right.
she like her persona looks ridiculous,
Great.
but like overall, like more anime cutscenes. You can now stay out at night. New area to explore. New new dungeons. New mini games. Like there's now pool and darts.
I always forget how cool this game looks.
I don't know. This might be the time you want to jump in.
Yeah.
New team attacks for your team members who are homies.
Cool.
New like just a bunch of new shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and it has a release date of March 31st, and they announced a special edition that you can bet your ass that I pre-ordered immediately.
Sure.
Like I love that game. I have the original collector's edition of it, and this new one I was not going to miss out on.
Right.
What you get in this collector's edition is a steelbook, a special art book of Royal P5 Royal, the soundtrack, and a Joker mask, a PS4 dynamic theme, and yeah, a special box.
That sounds all right.
Yeah, I'm super jazzed about this, and I cannot believe I'm actually thinking. So I don't have a lot of time to play this game.
Right.
It's 100 and so my playthrough of the first one was 90 hours, and most people consider that to be very fast. Most people consider that to be
Man,
exceptionally fast, actually.
that's too much.
Most people finish it around the 100 to 120 hour mark.
Ugh.
So I'm realistically thinking, okay, this game for me, in theory, should take probably 120 hours, maybe
Right.
130. And I'm thinking, you know what would be a really fun idea for the month of April?
Oh God, what?
To stream every day.
Yep.
And not only just to stream every day, stream Persona 5 every day.
Every day.
So I'm still considering it. Obviously, if other obligations pop up, like, I get sick or, work takes over or something
Yeah.
like that, obviously I'm not gonna, but like for that day at least. But otherwise, I'm currently thinking about every single day.
Man. Wow.
So,
That, it's the only way you're going to get that game finished.
yeah, because last time it took me almost the full year to get it done.
Right.
And even then, like the last 20 hours of it, I shoehorned it into 2 days for Game of the Year awards. So, it looks cool though. Looks really sweet.
Yeah. Yep. That game looks really good. So
If you're new to the game, I am gonna say, hey, wait for this version.
sure. All right.
Anyway, what's next?
Next is Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC is coming. You've all been asking for it.
Actually, some people have. So, I sent a message to you and post on Twitter. Watching this DLC trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3 makes me think that Square has no idea what made this series popular, and at this point probably doesn't give a fuck.
So I haven't
It's gonna
seen
sell.
this.
So okay,
Yeah.
well I'm gonna load it up.
Go ahead and load it up.
I'm gonna load the video up here.
Because we've talked about this a couple times, I think, on this podcast already. But I think a lot of people don't. I don't think anyone at Square Enix knows what's going on with Kingdom Hearts since after 2.
Yeah, well, I think it's just that they've let the team get up their own asshole with them not understanding what people liked about Kingdom Hearts, which was you get to travel to Disney worlds with
Yep.
Final Fantasy characters and fight evil,
Yep.
not this melodramatic, poorly acted anime nonsense.
Melodramatic, poorly acted sounds like Kingdom Hearts to me. The anime nonsense was to a degree, but only through like the Final Fantasy characters and all
but
that stuff.
like this is
It's
like,
this stuff.
like this trailer. You watch this trailer, And what it is the end. So what this is it's the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, but from everyone else's perspective. Because
Okay.
you play the end of that game, a little bit of it as Aqua, and then the rest of it is Sora.
All right.
And so now you are, but like the end conflict has all the Keyblade wielders. So
Okay.
so now you're playing it as Kyrie, and you're playing it as all these different wielders. And look, everyone, I know I'm gonna play this. Shut up. Um, I know.
Oh my God, he's grinding. Ah,
Yeah, he does
wait a
that in
minute.
this one.
All right, cool.
Yeah. So, but like
Well, I don't know what's going on in this series anymore.
I mean, they actually have a bundle. It was on sale during Black Friday. I don't think it is now, but it's like $60 now, where it's all of them, all
All
of
of them?
them, all of them for
Man,
PS4 and Xbox One.
wow.
So if you want to get caught up,
Yeah, there's a bundle out there.
there's
Probably
a
not.
yeah. I'm already caught up. Thank God. I hate myself enough apparently to where I'm gonna keep playing these. I
Ah,
really thought I was done with 3. Like I was like, all right, cool. We got the key of this storyline done. I don't care about their dick tease for 4.
yeah.
It's just no. Just as I thought I escaped, they're pulling me back in.
How did Kingdom Hearts sell?
It sold really well. It always sells well.
I mean, yeah, but after such separation, I don't know.
It's well,
Do you think there's reason for them to actually go through with making 4?
oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh, hold on.
Okay.
Let's see.
While you're
Let's
doing that,
see.
I'm going to pull up the next news story.
It sold over 5 million copies in the first week.
Okay, yeah.
The fastest selling and best selling game in series history.
That's, well, it would be. But also.
So yeah. The thing about Kingdom Hearts, is that nobody cared about these. Like you kind of cared about the characters, but it was about like I'm going to different Disney worlds and fighting evil and a little bit of this anime weirdness. Oh man, watching Cloud and Sephiroth fight in amongst an army of Heartless and Mickey
Yeah,
like is awesome,
it's ridiculous.
but like now it's just like they're
The
just
more
so
anime, like its own anime nonsense got involved, the more lost I became.
like literally the only reason you're traveling to Disney worlds in the newest one is like literally because Sora forgot to doesn't know how to do the thing anymore. He needs to travel these worlds to figure himself out.
He skipped all those games between 2 and 3 as well, so we need to
Yeah,
catch up.
yeah. So you get sort of caught up that way, and you go to
Man,
Frozen World,
yeah.
Pirate World, Monsters Inc., Toy Story,
I'm gonna tell you right
Tangled.
now, I'm watching this trailer and like some of the gameplay stuff makes me want to play it.
The gameplay is pretty good.
Yeah,
Like it. My problem with the gameplay is like it's good for an action RPG, but then like I go and I sit down and I play Devil May Cry and I'm like, oh right, action
right.
games exist.
Yep,
Like, oh right, I can play it. I can just go play Bayonetta and get better combat.
sure. I
But
mean,
like,
this is not meant to be like high concept, high,
no,
master class action.
this is spectacle, especially with the Disney rides thing. So they have this new mechanic because I'm guessing you didn't pay any attention to 3 when that shit came out.
No, I did not.
They have this fucking new mechanic where, like, randomly throughout battle, you'll trigger like Disney rides that you can get on and just fuck up the opponent with, like
Yep,
teacups and Splash Mountain and all this other kind of shit.
yep.
It's like if you
Great.
just want spectacle combat with just like a little bit of substance, then like yeah, it's cool.
Okay, that sounds all right.
Like yeah, if you are just looking for fucking anime ass spectacle, then you'll probably enjoy it.
Sure.
I
All
don't
right.
fucking know, man. Like, just rent it, I guess.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Is like eventually I just rent it when it gets slow.
or like post Christmas sales. I'm sure you can find it for like $20 or less.
Maybe.
Like it's fucking like I bought it at launch because I needed to know,
Yeah.
and it was fine.
Uh. So yeah, that's coming out. Real quick, we mentioned it earlier because we were talking about Halo Reach. Master Chief Collection, top Steam sales. Uh, and on PC, it's just offering Halo Reach,
Yeah,
but Halo Reach multiplayer beats out both Disco Elysium and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order on Steam.
crazy when you think about it, but like Halo once had that kind of power, and it's good to
Yep.
see that it like when you post the Halo stuff that people like out there,
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, that's what happens.
Which makes me curious how they're going to tackle Infinite because they need to. They have the ability to get back to the forefront of. Uh, they could be doing more in competitive gaming. They could be doing more in streaming and just having overall activity if they just made the game for it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But so that happened. That's still going on. I'm sure both of us will be trying out Halo Reach
Oh
off and
yeah,
on.
oh yeah. Like I'm gonna be in that Master Chief Collection the entire time.
Yeah. Let's see. So Resident Evil 3 remake cover art has been leaked.
I'm kind of bummed that it got leaked, but like not
Yeah.
doesn't surprise me at all because like that game, like that sequel did exceptionally well.
Yep.
Like it did super duper well. So I mean, I'm not totally surprised.
This is the game. This is the Resident Evil game I've heard about least in all my
Three,
time
I
hearing about Resident Evil.
so Resident Evil 3 has some really cool ideas of like the nemesis chasing you through the entire game. But like I feel that because it was so like late fucking PlayStation,
Yeah.
like it kind of got lost in the shuffle. Like when was RE3 release date? Let's see when that game came out. Yeah, it came out in '99, so a year before PlayStation 2.
Right. Yep.
And but like RE2 remake was a huge deal. It it made a lot of money. This does not surprise me in the slightest.
Right.
So
If they can create new interest for all Resident Evil games, it's less new shit they have to come up with.
yeah, which right on. And like
Sure.
they honestly don't need to change their template that much. Like that over the shoulder like camera in the mansion, like maze style corridor stuff. It works really well. Like
Yeah.
no reason to change it really.
Right.
So
Exactly. Uh, so I just wanted to mention this real quick because I don't know. I just saw it and I kind of chuckled to myself and then just let it go. It was Elder Scrolls Legends is dead.
yeah, I saw that and I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Like I played that game for all of the week and I'm like, why would I leave Hearthstone?
Right.
Uh,
Yep. I just came across this story that GameRankings.com closed,
okay.
which I don't know.
What was
I
it?
liked Game Rankings before Metacritic.
Yeah, same. It was always a nice thing to bitch about on the System Wars forums.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh
But
Lord.
yeah, apparently they closed. So boo.
Wait, game
Uh,
rankings closed?
yeah,
Wait, what?
yeah.
What? I was just on there today.
I mean, it's probably still up right now, but like,
Oh, but here it
uh,
goes at the top. Important news about it. On Monday, December 9th, we'll redead gamers to its sister site, Metacritic.
yep.
That sucks. Game Rankings was just so much more better laid out. Let's see.
Sure.
Latest performing among critics, the entire Game Rankings team will continue our mission to generate informative and review content, bring reviews of classic games to Metacritic. As one of the oldest gaming sites online, we thank you for supporting Game Rankings over the past 20 years.
Yep.
And we look forward to conquering new gaming worlds with you for years to come. Oh yeah, they were owned by GameSpot, so that makes sense.
Sure.
So,
So, yep.
bam, bam, bam. Means I have to
World
start
game
using
ranking.
Metacritic. Ugh.
Yep. You know, it is what it is. And finally,
What
this has
the
been
holy hell is
making
up with this Jesus Christ game?
this has been making the rounds on Twitter, and I let's look at this video. Look at
Yeah.
this first person healing hands.
I mean, I played a priest in WoW. I know what's up.
Look at this Bible with a Polaroid in it.
Look at him spawn fish in this bucket, and then watch his Jesus meter go down.
So, like, yeah, another Polaroid. uh, so, like, I used to be in a Methodist church, which was next to a His Word.
Okay.
Oh, this is the
Oh my
best
god, the
scene.
cross.
This is the best scene.
The
Oh,
cross.
look at his heart meter. It's so low and it's draining. Oh
How much
no.
is this?
It's available on Steam.
How much is it?
That can't be real.
Oh
Oh,
my
okay.
god, the resurrection.
You're telling me he lives that see everything about that says it's fake.
I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna see if
Go
it's
ahead
on
and look this
Steam.
up. So okay, so anyway, because I lived in His Word and we were Christians at the time, I played a couple Christian games.
No, it's on Steam. It's a real product.
Is it? Can I buy it?
Says coming soon. You can add it to your wish list.
So we don't have any actual gameplay. I'm assuming. Do we have pictures up there?
No, I'm gonna look it up. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a couple screenshots. They
None
have the
of
Last
this looks
Supper,
real.
the foot washing. It looks like Satan's possessing someone.
I wonder if these are like just interactive cutscenes.
No, dude, it looks like that's legit gameplay.
That's a good devil.
That's that. Yeah, like you're looking at the screen Steam shots. The
Yeah.
Steam.
Yeah.
Steam screenshots.
Screenshots. Uh,
Sally sells seashells on the seashore.
red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather. This is insane.
This is dumb.
Again, really good devil. I'm still not sold on this being real. Any of this being real.
No, I think it's real. Like, I mean, they have the Bible Adventures video games that came out.
I'm saying like the game could be real, but like all of these screenshots, all of these, all the video I've seen, this all seems like some pre-rendered nonsense, and they took some pictures, and they're still working on the game, but they put this out.
Fair enough.
Dude, I just.
If it actually comes out, you and I should let's play part of it. Do a video on it.
I don't want to pay money for it.
I'll see if we can get a review code.
4 gigs needed.
Of RAM? Or just
It is
space?
recommended you have 8 gigs of RAM and 4 gigs of storage.
Okay.
You need to have at least a GTX 960.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm sorry. This is all recommended. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So like graphics 550 Ti,
Oh, okay, yeah.
4 gigs RAM, 2 gigs available space.
Yeah, we're good.
We're more than fine. But like,
we're in a good spot.
I just love the GIF of Jesus floating in the air. It just says "Am Jesus Christ," available on Steam. What?
I don't even know anymore, man.
I'm only seeing a heart with thorns as a meter that raises and lowers, and that's like it. And then you just have your hands. Your hands are doing this or this, or you're washing feet.
Oh,
or
Lord.
giving supper. That's all you can do. It should be a VR game.
Fair enough.
Jesus Christ! All right,
You literally.
literally. Oh my God! I think that's our show.
We got one comment this week.
Did we?
We did.
All right.
A Mr. Ace Hardy sent us a crown. I think he's calling us kings. In which, yes, thank you.
Oh, wait, what was this comment?
It's a crown. It's a crown.
Oh, nice. Good.
Yeah, it's a picture
Thank
of a crown.
Ah.
Thank you for calling us kings. Thank you.
Uh,
Good week, man.
us as kings, we need to play as King of Kings.
What?
The King of Kings.
Oh,
I am Jesus Christ.
right.
Or Triple H, I don't know. Triple H versus Jesus Christ, my new video game.
Coming to Steam soon.
It's all about the game and how you play it. All right, you guys, that is the show. It's a hell of a show today.
Love you, duders.
Yes, and we will see you next week. We're still putting out Star Wars
Star
review
Wars.
stuff. We just did a few. We just did a couple. We'll be releasing those shortly.
Yep. One of those probably will be already out.
Oh yeah.
So
And then we got the what is it? Rise of Skywalker is still coming.
yeah, now we
What's
still
that?
we got Revenge and then the new ones.
Man, that's gonna be a lot. But let me tell you, those Star Wars videos, some revelations, some reminding ourselves of what those movies were from an adult perspective is
Right.
something. It was a weird experience, and I can't wait to see Revenge. And then seeing both of these, Force Awakens and Last Jedi, I only saw once in theaters for each of them. So
Okay, well
that'll be interesting. But
so it goes.
yeah, so thank you guys for coming in and watching. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.
Later, duders. Love you.
See ya.